Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Talk English. I'm Emily, and today we're diving into something that literally every English learner struggles with at some point.
Hey everyone, I'm Daniel, and yeah, today's topic is all about how to stop translating in your head and start thinking directly in English. This is the holy grail of language learning, right? When you can finally think in the language, everything gets faster and more natural.
Oh my gosh, yes. I remember when I was learning Spanish, I would have these painful conversations where I'd hear something in Spanish, translate it to English in my head, think of my response in English, translate it back to Spanish, and then speak. By that time, the conversation had already moved on.
Exactly. And that's the frustrating part. You know the words, you understand the grammar, but there's this annoying delay because your brain is doing all this translation work. It's exhausting and it makes you sound hesitant even when you actually know what you want to say.
So true. And here's what I love about today's episode. We're not just going to tell you stop translating. We're going to give you a practical day-by-day plan to actually train your brain to think in English. We're calling it the 30-day challenge.
Right, and let me be clear, this isn't magic. You won't wake up on day 31 suddenly thinking in perfect English. But if you follow these daily practices consistently, you will notice a significant shift in how your brain processes English. You'll start having moments where English words just pop into your head without translation.
And those moments are incredible. They're like little breakthroughs. In this episode, we'll walk you through exactly what to do each day, what exercises work best, and how to know if you're making progress. We'll also share the mistakes learners make when trying to think in English and how to avoid them.
Plus, we've got our vocabulary breakdown and practice challenges at the end. So, whether you're a beginner who's just starting to build the skill or an intermediate learner who still catches themselves translating, this episode is going to help you make real progress.
Let's get into it. All right, Daniel, so let's start with the big question. Why is it so hard to stop translating? Like, why does our brain automatically want to translate everything?
Great question. So here's the thing. Your brain takes the path of least resistance. Your native language is like a superhighway in your brain. It's fast, automatic, and effortless. English is like a dirt road that you're still building. So naturally, your brain wants to use that superhighway first.
Oh, I love that analogy. The superhighway versus the dirt road. So, how do we build up that dirt road into a highway?
Exactly what you just said. We build it. And the key is repetition and immersion. You need to use that English pathway so many times that it becomes automatic. That's what the 30-day challenge is all about.
Okay, so walk me through this. What does day one look like? If someone's starting this challenge tomorrow, what should they do?
Good. So in the beginning, you want to start small. Day one isn't about thinking complex thoughts in English. It's about narrating simple actions. For example, when you wake up in the morning, instead of thinking in your native language, you think, I'm waking up, I'm stretching, I'm getting out of bed.
So, like a running commentary of your own life.
Exactly. It might feel weird at first, but this is actually one of the most powerful techniques. You're training your brain to access English words for everyday actions without translating. So you'd think, I'm brushing my teeth. The water's cold. I'm putting on my shoes.
I love this. It's so practical. And I'm guessing the vocabulary you use here is pretty basic, right? We're not trying to narrate in fancy English.
Right. Keep it simple, especially at the start. Don't try to think, I am performing my morning ablutions. Just think, I'm washing my face. The goal is fluency, not fancy vocabulary.
Performing my morning ablutions. Okay, nobody talks like that. So, what about week two? Once people have practiced this narrating thing, what's the next step?
Great question. So once you've got the basics down, week two is about expanding to feelings and opinions. Instead of just, I'm making coffee, you add, I'm making coffee, I'm still tired, I wish I could sleep more, but I need to get to work.
Oh, so you're adding emotional contents and personal thoughts, not just actions.
Exactly, because that's what real thinking is, right? It's not just describing what you see, it's reacting to it, having opinions, wondering about things. So you might think, this coffee tastes good. I wonder if Sarah will be at the meeting today. I hope I don't forget my presentation.
I love how you're building it up gradually. What about conversations with other people? That's where a lot of learners really struggle. They can narrate alone, but the moment someone talks to them, they switch back to translation mode.
Yes, that's actually week 3 and 4 of the challenge. By then, you've built up enough practice that you can start anticipating conversations. So before a meeting or phone call, you spend 2 minutes thinking in English about what might be discussed.
Oh, that's smart. So you're priming your brain for English mode before the conversation even starts?
Exactly. You might think, they'll probably ask about the project deadline, I'll need to explain the delay, I should mention the budget constraints. You're rehearsing in English, which makes it much easier when the actual conversation happens.
This is brilliant. Now, here's something I want to address because I know learners worry about this. What if you don't know a word? Like you're trying to think in English and you hit a word you don't know. Should you just give up and translate it?
Great question. And no, don't give up. This is where you work around it. If you don't know the word, describe it in English. For example, if you can't remember screwdriver, you think the tool you use to turn screws. This is actually really good for your brain.
Oh, so you're building your paraphrasing skills at the same time.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Even native speakers do this. Sometimes we can't think of a specific word, so we describe it. You know, that thing you use to open cans. A can opener. That's it. It's a totally normal part of language use.
That makes me feel so much better. Okay, so we've covered the daily narration, expanding to feelings, anticipating conversations, and working around unknown words. What about the biggest mistake you see learners make when trying to think in English?
Oh, easy. The biggest mistake is trying to do too much too fast. People try to think entire complex thoughts in English on day one and get frustrated when they can't. Then they give up and think, I'll never be able to think in English.
Right, because they're expecting too much of themselves too soon.
Exactly. I tell my students, progress is progress no matter how small. If on day one you can think, I'm hungry in English instead of translating it from your native language, that's a win. Celebrate that. Don't beat yourself up because you can't think philosophical thoughts in English yet.
I love that mindset. Okay, let's talk about tracking progress. How do people know if this is actually working? Because thinking happens in your head. It's not like speaking where you can record yourself.
Such a good point. So there are a few signs to watch out for. First, you'll notice English words popping into your head without trying, like you'll see a dog and think dog before you think the word in your native language. Second, your response time in conversations gets faster. There's less of that awkward pause while you translate.
Those are great concrete signs. What else?
Also, you'll start dreaming in English sometimes, or you'll catch yourself talking to yourself in English without planning to. Those are huge milestones. It means English is becoming a natural part of your mental landscape.
Ooh, I remember my first dream in Spanish. I was so excited. Okay, last thing before we move to vocabulary. Any tips for staying motivated for the full 30 days?
Yes, make it a non-negotiable daily habit. Attach it to something you already do every day. For example, every time I make my morning coffee, I narrate in English, or every time I'm in the shower, I think in English. This way, it becomes automatic, not something you have to remember to do.
Perfect. All right, let's recap those key phrases we covered. The path of least resistance, the easiest way to do something. The key is highlighting the most important factor. In the beginning, describing the initial stage. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Once you've got the basics down, after mastering fundamentals, anticipating conversations, preparing mentally ahead of time, work around it, find alternative solutions, trying to do too much too fast, being too ambitious too soon. Progress is progress, no matter how small, celebrating all improvements. Watch out for, pay attention to, look for signs. Make it a non-negotiable daily habit. Commit to doing it every day.
And remember, thinking in English is a skill you build, not something you either have or don't have. Anyone can develop this with consistent practice.
Now let's break down some essential vocabulary and phrases from our conversation. We'll explain each one clearly and show you how to use them in real life.
Let's go.
First, path of least resistance.
This means the easiest or most convenient option. Your brain naturally chooses it to save energy. Example, I know I should cook, but ordering takeout is the path of least resistance after a long day.
You can also say the easy way out, slightly negative, or default option, neutral. Use this to explain why people make certain choices.
Next, start small.
This means begin with simple, manageable tasks rather than overwhelming yourself. Example, if you want to start exercising, start small, maybe just 10 minutes a day.
Related phrases, baby steps, take it slow, ease into it. This is classic advice for building any new habit or skill.
Number 3, running commentary.
This means a continuous description of what's happening, like a sports announcer. Example, my toddler gives a running commentary of everything she does. I'm eating, I'm drinking, I'm playing.
In our context, it's narrating your own actions as you do them. It's also used humorously. Thanks for the running commentary, Captain Obvious.
Fourth, prime or priming.
To prime means to prepare something or someone for action or use. In our episode, priming your brain means getting it ready for English mode. Example, I prime my brain for creativity by reading for 30 minutes each morning.
It comes from priming a pump, preparing it to work. You can say prep, warm up, or get ready, but prime is more sophisticated.
Number 5, workaround.
A workaround is an alternative method when the main method doesn't work. To work around something means to bypass a problem creatively. Example, the bridge is closed, so we'll need to work around it by taking the highway.
In language learning, if you don't know a word, work around it by describing what you mean. Similar to get around, bypass, find another way.
Sixth, pop into your head.
This means a thought appears suddenly and spontaneously, without effort. Example, I was trying to remember her name all day, and then it just popped into my head while I was cooking dinner.
It suggests effortless recall. Similar phrases come to mind, occur to you, spring to mind. This is what happens when you're successfully thinking in English. Words just pop up.
Number 7, beat yourself up.
This means to criticize yourself harshly or feel excessive guilt. Example, I made a mistake in the presentation, but I'm trying not to beat myself up about it.
It's always negative. You wouldn't say this about healthy self-reflection. Related, be hard on yourself. Self-criticize. Give yourself a hard time.
Eighth, milestone.
A milestone is a significant point or achievement in a process. Example, getting my driver's license was a major milestone in my teenage years.
Originally, milestones were actual stones marking distances on roads. Now it's any important marker of progress. Thinking your first thought in English is a milestone.
Number 9, mental landscape.
This is a metaphorical way to describe your mind, thoughts, and mental processes. Example, meditation has really changed my mental landscape. I'm calmer and more focused now.
It's poetic and sophisticated. You can also say mindset, way of thinking, or mental space. But mental landscape emphasizes the complex, varied nature of thought.
Enter attach to or anchor to.
In habit formation, this means linking a new habit to an existing one. Example, I attached my vitamin taking to my morning coffee routine. Now I never forget.
This is called habit stacking in psychology. Related phrases, pair it with, bundle it with, tie it to. Very effective for building new habits.
Number 11, non-negotiable.
Something that must happen with no exceptions or flexibility. Example, getting 8 hours of sleep is non-negotiable for me.
Originally from business, terms that can't be changed in a contract, now used for personal boundaries and priorities. Opposite is flexible, optional, negotiable.
And finally, building up or build up to.
This means gradually increasing or progressing towards something more difficult. Example, I'm building up to running a marathon. I started with just 1 mile.
The key word is gradually. You're adding incrementally, not jumping straight to the hard part. Similar, work up to, progress toward, ease into.
These phrases aren't just for talking about language learning. You'll hear them in conversations about fitness, career development, relationships, any area where growth and progress happen.
Exactly. That's what makes them so valuable. Master these and you'll sound natural in all kinds of discussions.
All right, everyone, here's where the magic happens, your practice section. We've got 3 challenges for you, and honestly, if you do these, you'll start seeing results within a week.
Challenge number 1, the morning routine narration. Tomorrow morning, from the moment you wake up until you leave your house or start work, narrate everything in English. Out loud if you're alone, or in your head if you're around others. I'm waking up. I'm checking my phone. I'm feeling tired. I'm making coffee.
Do this every single morning for the next 7 days. Set a phone reminder if you need to. This becomes your daily English warm-up, like stretching before exercise.
Challenge number 2, the unknown word log. Every time you try to think in English and hit a word you don't know, write it down. Don't translate it immediately. First, try to describe it in English. Then look it up and add the real word to your log. By the end of the week, you'll have a personalized vocabulary list of words your brain actually wants to use.
This is so smart because you're learning vocabulary that's relevant to your life and thoughts, not random word lists from textbooks.
Exactly. Challenge number 3, the pre-conversation prep. Before any conversation in English this week, whether it's a work meeting, a call with a friend, or even ordering food, spend 60 seconds thinking in English about what might happen. They'll probably ask me about this. I'll say this. If they mention X, I'll respond with Y.
Even 1 minute of prep makes a huge difference. Your brain is already in English mode when the conversation starts, so there's less switching cost.
And here's a bonus challenge if you're feeling ambitious. Set a timer for 5 minutes before bed and do a mental recap of your day entirely in English. What did you do? How did you feel? What went well? What could have been better? This is like a daily English journal, but mental.
The key with all of these is consistency. Better to do 5 minutes every single day than to do 2 hours once a week. Your brain needs regular, repeated exposure to build those neural pathways.
So pick at least one of these challenges, ideally all of them, and commit to it for the next 7 days. Then come back and tell us how it went.
All right, that's a wrap for today's episode. Let's recap. We talked about why our brains default to translation. It's the path of least resistance. We gave you a 30-day roadmap starting with simple narration, expanding to feelings and opinions, then anticipating conversations.
We covered the biggest mistakes, trying to do too much too fast and beating yourself up for not being perfect. Remember, progress is progress no matter how small. We also shared the signs that it's working. English words popping into your head first, faster response times, even dreaming in English.
The bottom line, thinking in English is a skill you build through consistent daily practice, not something magical that just happens one day. Start small, be patient with yourself, and celebrate every tiny win.
If this episode helped you, drop us a comment. Tell us, have you ever caught yourself thinking in English spontaneously? What was that moment like? Or share which challenge you're going to try this week.
Next week, we're diving into something super practical, how to understand fast-talking native speakers and never feel lost in conversations again. You definitely don't want to miss it.
Thanks for listening to Real Talk English. Remember, your brain is more powerful than you think. Give it the right practice and it will adapt. You've got this.
Bye, everyone.